The Gulf Coast shrimping industry took a major hit last year from the BP oil spill.
But this year, the shrimp grounds are clean. The fishermen are back in business, as early show contributor Spike Mendelsohn tells us. Good morning, Spike.
Good morning. How's it going?
Good.
Good, good.
So, yeah, I mean, you know, there's a huge misconception about how safe it is to eat the shrimp and the seafood from Louisiana and especially New Orleans.
Yeah.
So we took a trip down there just to kind of resource some shrimp and see what was going on. Take a look.
Everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine, let it shine.
New Orleans, the jewel of the Gulf Coast, a city steeped in history, culture, music, and of course my favorite, food. Much of the Crescent City's famous cuisine, gumbos, po' boys, and etouffees, comes from the Gulf of Mexico.
Louisiana seafood by far is the main dish for all the restaurants in the state.
This is their livelihood. I mean, this really is.
It's everything we do. This is a huge business for Louisiana. It's a $2.4 billion business.
But the multi-billion-dollar seafood industry is still recovering from last summer's massive BP oil spill. Over the last year, these Gulf waters have gone through extensive testing.
This area is the most tested seafood in the United States, especially over the last year.
Steve Wilson is part of NOAA's seafood inspection program.
Not one sample has entered the market that was tainted with either dispersants or oil.
Despite rigorous examination, Americans are still weary of Gulf seafood.
The biggest challenge we're still faced with is the perception issues. 69% of Americans are still concerned about eating seafood from the Gulf of Mexico.
The problem affects local fishermen like Pete Garrica. He's a third-generation shrimper who has seen his fair share of adversity. Katrina destroyed his home, but not his livelihood. Pete took us to the Gulf, where he makes his living shrimping these waters.
Well, I see some nice shrimp in there. 8, 9, 10.
This seafood coming from this lake and this part of the world is 100% edible and safe and healthy and clean and as fresh as you're going to get it.
I would stake my life on it.
One thing for sure, this is the freshest and the cleanest catch that you can get.
Buyers, however, are still cautious.
My markets are still off, roughly, I'd say about between 35 and 45%.
Fortunately, the oil spill hasn't scared away restaurant owners, like Chef John Besh, who runs August, a big, easy institution.
What's going on?
It's great to have me here, brother.
Besh has always been an ambassador of Gulf seafood.
Our seafood has really never been better.
We got right to work on a classic New Orleans dish.
But it's still one of my favorite dishes. One of the first dishes I've ever made in my life, shrimp creole.
I'm not even here 10 minutes and Besh is putting me to work already.
Check it out. Would you toss that for me, brother?
I'm totally tossing. Yeah, put me to work.
All right, that's just,
Besh.
you know, chili flakes.
Just chili flakes
hot
all over
pepper.
this. It does not get any more soulful or better than that.
Yeah.
Soul New Orleans. I'm loving it.
With meals like this, it's hard to imagine anyone being able to resist Gulf Coast shrimp.
Spike here is hungry.
They're delicious.
Isn't that awesome?
And Chef Besh believes there's an important lesson to be learned beyond the Gulf Coast shores.
We all need to start eating a lot more domestically.
Right.
If we do that, we're supporting all these localized economies all across the country that really depend on that. You've seen it. You know, once we lose this culture, our coastal community, they'll never come back.
Exactly.
You know, you were pretty good at it. You should think about opening up your own place.
I should be cooking. I know.
You know, he's right. We import a lot of seafood.
Yeah, we import about 80% of the seafood that we consume here in America is imported.
Yeah.
And the funny part about that is that only 0.1% is actually inspected. So you can imagine. I mean, the whole idea here is also like the misperception that, you know, everyone has on the seafood in New Orleans and that it's tainted. I mean, it's such a resilient state over the last 5 years. Katrina, all the other hurricanes, the BP oil spill. You know what I mean? They really need America to kind of help a hand.
How do you know that you are then? I mean, how do you know this stuff came from the Gulf Coast?
Just, you know, ask your chefs, ask where, you know, people are buying their seafood in the supermarkets and just try to buy as local as you can.
buy locally. And sometimes the price will actually even be better if you get it from something local because it didn't have so long to transport.
Absolutely. And I mean, most importantly, you're going to be supporting Louisiana, which needs it the most right now. All the families, all the people that are still there kind of trying to make it happen really need us to help out.
Renewed sense of optimism down there, too. I mean, I know it's only been a year and they did take a significant hit.
Sure.
But they're feeling better about the way things are going.
They're feeling better, and I have to tell you, it was my first time down in New Orleans, and the people were absolutely amazing, very informative, and it's sad on what's going on there because there's just a bad perception. Are you going to taste some of the food?
Okay, I'm going to try some.
I mean, you got to get in.
It's a little early, I got to be honest. It's not that I'm afraid of it, it's just that it's so early, Spike. Okay.
She doesn't like to eat a lot of food or drink scotch before 9 a.m. It's really bizarre.
It's one of those weird things.
Right, we're talking about shrimp here. You have to have the shrimp.
Have a wonderful